All right, here we go. This is going to be something special, and that's because it's my dad. This is going to be this is about 22 years in the making. So we're gonna start with what I consider one of the best pistols ever built, the Hayes Custom Guns Cobra. I love these Cobras. So we're going to start with that, and then we're going to kick it up a couple notches. And the thing I like about the Cobra is it's classy. It's never going to go out of style. I mean, this basic setup right here is about 100 years old, 120 years old. Um, so it's going to be timeless. It's going to be tasteful, but it's going to be a one-off, and it's going to be something special. And so I'm really looking forward to this. It's now April, middle of April, and this is going to be a Christmas gift to my dad. So this build, I don't really have a whole lot of. Well, I really don't have anything written down. This is just going to be a play it by ear, and if it sounds good, I'm going to do it. It's starting off as a base Cobra, which is the full length dust cover frame with the tactical rail. This one will be aluminum grip. It's going to be tri-topped with the classic 1911 serrations. And then you can see we have the Nighthawk iOS, which interchangeable optic system already cut on this slide. So that's the frame and slide. Then the barrel is going to be a bull barrel. I don't know if I'm going to port this one or not. So that's the bones. That's what we got so far. So the first thing we're going to do is we've already fit this slide to frame. We've already done the hand fit, the lapping, and all the final touches. So now it is time to fit the barrel. So we're going to fit the lugs on this barrel and go from there. Man, she already looks good. So on these Cobras, we can do these in bigger batches because they're all going to look the same. They're all going to be tri-top. They're all going to have these classic 1911 serrations. The majority of them start off bull barrels. So there's certain things we can do in larger scale. And so this has already previously been hand fit. The hood, the length of the hood is fit. The serrations are cut. The tri-top is done. The machining for the slide to frame has been done, and then we just go through and do that last little bit of touch up with the hand. And so what I'm doing now is just going through and making sure that this is spot on, and just kind of double checking the work that we've already done to them. So this is the length of the hood that I'm checking here. You don't want any movement back and forth when it's in lockup, but you don't want it to be too tight so that it doesn't drop out of battery. So this is a good one. Very happy with that. Now I'm going to fit these bottom lugs here where the slide stop interacts with them. And this is the key part of the build. This is like 90% of what makes the gun feel really good is this fitment right here. 90%, I don't know if it's 90%, it's a lot of percent, whatever it is. It's important. Chia, yeah, my Chia. You definitely don't want to get this part wrong. I don't normally have my air hose way up there out of reach. It's normally dangling right here, but it's in the way of the camera, so it's not very efficient. It's the sacrifices we make here. So this is pretty critical, being able to file flat and keep that flat, because the more surface contact, the more surface area there is, the longer your gun will last, or the longer your accuracy will hold up. It's just a better built. It's just better built when you have more surface contact between your slide stop and your barrel lugs. So I tried to get it on camera, but it's kind of hard to see. But what I'm looking to do here is get as much contact surface between the slide stop and the barrel lugs. The more contact surface there is, the more positive and the longer lasting it will be. So keeping this flat as I'm filing and not, rainbowing it like that, that's going to put the high spot in the middle. Well, if it's the high spot just in the middle on the inside of those lugs, it's going to wear out faster and just not be as well built. So trying to keep this flat and get surface all the way across both those lugs. So let's talk about what we're doing here, what we're trying to achieve. We've got this flat file, and we've been filing on the lugs right here. The barrel's actually upside down, so it's a little confusing when I'm talking about it. The barrel's going to be in this configuration when it's in the gun. And this is your slide stop pin. And so once the gun is in lockup, these lugs are going to ride up on top of this slide stop pin here. And that is going to be the gun is in battery, in lockup. And then when the slide cycles, the barrel's got to move off and it drops down just like that. When it goes back into battery, it goes up on top. So essentially, you just want a snug fit. That's all we're doing. It's not complicated. It's very easy to to say, very difficult to file by hand and do this. So there's a few key things here. I've been using this flat file, and so that's going to put these lugs at a 90-degree angle with the back wall. I don't want that. I have a round slide stop pin here. So I'm going to take this round file, and I'm going to bring back, cut this way. And so what that does, it allows the barrel and the whole slide, the whole top end movement to come forward the appropriate amount. And I want it to be a nice radius to match the slide stop in the back. What I don't want is to file back and then get deeper as I go. What that will do, you turn the barrel up this way, it will create a hump in the front. And so when the barrel goes into lockup, it's got to go over a hump, and then it's going to fall down here and it'll be loose. Well, then to unlock it, it's got to go back off of them, and it's going to have to go over that hump. I don't want it to have to go over the hump and then unlock. I want it to be a flat, smooth transition off of there. And so if you cut your lugs wrong, you're going to have a click, and you're like, man, that feels really tight. But in lockup, you actually have some barrel movement, and so we want to have the best of both worlds. We want to have a nice tight fit, but we also want to have a smooth transition off of the lugs. No problem. So we're getting pretty close, but we're not there yet. But I got one of these Viper chairs that they've been advertising all over on Facebook for forever. It's supposed to be the chair that will last you 10 years. And when I stand up, it just rolls away. I've almost busted my butt a couple times because my chair wasn't there when I sat back down. Good chair so far. Best chair I've ever bought for the shop. I'm not sponsored by them. Just giving my 2 cents. But this is the most important part. That means there's not much material left between being perfect and cut too much. It's a very fine line. Man, when it's good, when it's good, it's good. And that is good. Doesn't matter whether you close it hard or soft. It ends up in the same spot. You don't want any deviation there. So it's found a rock solid home. No play, all tight, and yet still buttery smooth. Sometimes it takes a little while, and everyone's is a little bit different, and that's why we hand fit them as opposed to doing it on the machine, because you just can't feel that on a machine. When you pick something up, you know when it's right. So, lugs are fit. Good feeling. And here's the scientific method that I like to use when choosing the correct link. Now, the link is a super critical component of the pistol. Choose the wrong size and your gun will break. Choose the correct size and your gun will most likely offer a lifetime or more of flawless functioning. The link is a little bit of a mystery to a lot of people. And in all seriousness, it's a very misunderstood component of the gun. And I do have a really simplified method for choosing the correct link size. However, I do have to save a few secrets, maybe for future videos. Otherwise, you might not come back. So we'll leave it a little bit of a mystery on how I choose the link size. And for now, just know that it is very critical. Now, after the barrel job is done and the link is fit, we're moving on to the grip. And what we're doing here is making sure that the gun feels comfortable in the hand. There's nothing worse than grabbing a gun that looks really nice, but when you actually take it out and use it, it just hurts and it's uncomfortable to hold. With these grips, we put a lot of time into beveling and shaping and just overall making the grip more comfortable to hold in the hand. There's nothing worse than having a pistol maybe on a cold day or your hands are oily and you go to rack it or do a mag change and your hand slips and you get caught on a sharp edge of that pistol and it makes you bleed. You don't want your gun to make you bleed. And I can't tell you how many guns I've picked up that have super sharp corners and edges that where if you were to miss a rack, the meat of your palm gets caught on the ejection port and just cuts you. We put a lot of time into contouring and shaping and blending the grip safety, the trigger guard, thumb safeties. Basically, every portion of this gun is going to be modified or blended or improved in some way to make it more user-friendly. And here's the part of the build where we take the standard Cobra serrations and upgrade them to what I like to call the pocket diamond serrations. So the reason I love these pocket diamond serrations so much is that they are directional, meaning when you rack the slide from the front to the rear, it offers maximum grip because of the diamonds are actually angled towards the front. And if you take your hand and slide it from the rear of the slide to the front, there's almost no texture at all. So not only do they look really cool, but they offer maximum traction for your fingers when racking the slide. All right, so we're going to wrap this project up. I just test fired it, ran great. And a few details that I'm still considering this top strap because we left the front side off to look really clean. It's going to go straight red dot. Probably going to put some laser engraving on the top of some sort, but I haven't decided on what that's going to be yet. Love these serrations. These diamond serrations turned out really good. They offer excellent grip. Really like the way they look. Got our custom L trigger in there, nice touch. And for color, I think I'm going to go black DLC with probably rose gold barrel and hammer. That's one of my favorite looks. Never goes out of style, and it's still kind of a niche. You don't see a lot of rose gold and black guns as opposed to yellow gold. You know, classic yellow golds everywhere. As far as dots go, I'm really digging the Defender ST. The Vortex Defender ST. I think it's the kind of the sweet spot for a pistol like this, in that it's a big enough window, it has nice visibility, and yet it's not so big it looks like a giant mailbox or it looks out of place like so many of the dots do these days. So it's aesthetically pleasing, it's proportioned correctly with the gun, and it's still very usable as a competition dot. So really happy with that. I think I'm going to go with Vortex Defender ST. So now all I have left to do is put the logos on it, laser engrave it, do the top strap, and then start prepping it for DLC. And then hopefully it comes back before Christmas.